It's a place where little children never cry. No one will go away. No lonely nights, it'll be all day. It's a place where precious memory come alive. It's a place where precious memory come alive. We'll live there forever. No one will ever die. We'll walk down the street of gold with Mom and Dad and saints of old. It's a place where precious memory come alive. Many loved ones have gone on, and it seems it's been so long since I heard their voice or looked up on their face. But I'm thinking of home, where we'll gather round the throne. That's the day that precious memory come alive. It's a place where precious memory they come alive. Children will live there forever. No one will ever die. We're gonna shout down the street of gold with Mom and Dad and saints of old. That's the day that precious memories will come alive. We're gonna shout down that street of gold with Mom and Dad and saints of old. It's a place where precious memory come alive. Yeah, Lord. What about that? Yes, sir. It's all right tonight. There's one brother. Bill's dad had asked about that song and how true a song it is, and there's one that I had on my mind, and I thought about them when I heard about this, and my heart wasn't as broke as bad as yours, Brother Dave, but it was broke for you. And there was a lady that was by the name of Mary that knelt down and was crying as she began to look and to see her son bearing the cross. And I know that in her mind that she began to say, why? Why? And Jesus, as he began to go up, he saw these women crying. And he paused just for a bit. And when he paused, he looked at them and he told them this. He said, "Oh, ye daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and your children." And I want to say today that we're not promised in this life. And I think that a lot of people don't really stop and look at... We all, when death comes to our home, we feel like that it's been unfair, Brother Holbert. But here's the thing about it tonight, friend, was We weren't promised sometimes to live a long time here in this life. We weren't promised today that we would live to be very old. We weren't promised that we would be able to see retirement in this life. But this world here, we believe, is just a getting ready place for that to come. How many believes in heaven tonight? I want you to, if you believe in heaven, I want you to raise your hand. And I don't think there's anyone here who could keep their hand down. And just as much as there is a heaven, friend, there's a hell. The Bible says that there is a heaven to gain and a hell to shun. Then we hear the Bible saying like this. He said, today is the day of salvation. If you hear my voice, harden not your heart.
Yeah.
Now, Brother Dave, this loved one here that's under consideration tonight, we can't do nothing else for him. That soul that God giving has already went back to Him. All that we have, and I want to say like this. You're left here to mourn, and I know that you already know, you, most of your family. I don't know them all, but I know that you know that Jesus is the greatest comforter. But I'm not going to try to be ignorant tonight to the fact, friend, that nature, it still hurts. Nature sometimes will just tear you apart when you lose your loved ones. I know that. But friend, here tonight, I want to say to you, listen, that Old Baptist has preached for years to people to get Jesus, to get ready for heaven. We've told you about heaven. We've talked about heaven. We've sang about heaven tonight. But friend, listen today. I want to say that, listen, down here, as a songwriter wrote, he said, down here the burdens are heavy and the road is hard to bear. Listen, but I want to tell you tonight, friend, that there is benefits in having Jesus right here in this present life. There's joy in having Jesus right here in this present life. Somebody said, what do you mean, preacher? How is there joy in seeing your loved one like this? Let me tell you something, friend. I see a many every day. Listen, that pray and pray hard. Listen, I see a many every day. Mothers that will go by the casket of their loved one, and they'll look in right in down in Brother Bill, and they'll say, come back. Or they'll say, why God? Listen, did you take my child? Listen, I've even heard him say, I can't go on anymore. I want to tell you something, friend. If you don't have Jesus tonight, your world will feel like it can't go on. Your world will feel like that it's just not moving right. Listen today. Why? Because He is peace, He is love, and He is joy, and He is the real thing. Is that all right? Listen, the Bible says to have Christ is gain. One writer said like this. He said, whether I live or whether I die, it's gain. Listen, when you have the Lord. And I want to tell you, young people, something like this. And you old as well. Listen, there was a young man one time. He had everything that he ever wanted. He had great riches, the Bible said. Brother Dave, I'm just going to preach to your family and to these folks here about Jesus Christ. Listen, and somebody said, well, we've heard about Him already. Friend, let me tell you something. Jason could preach all night, and these brethren could, but I'll never get done telling. I couldn't tell just a drop of just how good Jesus is, but I hope the Spirit will bear witness to that. Listen, but here's the thing about it tonight. Listen, this young man, he had great riches. Listen, the Bible said that he could have had anything that he wanted for the whole of his son. And today, and he sat there one night as he laid on his bed, and he began to think, I'm going to tear my buildings down that I have, and I'm going to build bigger ones tomorrow. Listen, because all the stuff that I have, my buildings I have right now, won't have. And Oh, friend, listen, if Jesus came tomorrow, listen, would your buildings matter here in this land? No, they wouldn't today. Listen, but here's what I want to give to you. He said, I'll build bigger ones tomorrow, and I'll put all this stuff in him. And he had big ideas and big plans in him. Oh, listen, when he laid down there that night, listen, today, no doubt he thought just how big he built them. Listen, and he laid down, but there was only one problem before he closed his eyes. Listen, there was something came to him, didn't they? There was an angel came to him. Listen, today and began to talk to him. Oh, listen, thy fool this night, your soul is required of thee. Listen, death came to his door, and listen, his building plans were shot. Listen, friend, I want to tell you something. Don't cast your net out too far. It may not get there. Listen, today, I want to tell you like this here. Here's what happened to that man. Listen, bless the Lord. He said, listen, he laid there that night and left this world. Listen, and everything that he had behind. Listen, Brother Baxter Osborne, I can remember hearing him. Listen, when I was a young man, yeah, he'd always preach this in funeral. There was an old woman that died, and she had a lot of riches, and they asked the undertaker, how much did she leave behind? Listen, how much did she leave behind? Oh, friend, she left it all behind. Listen, every riches that she had, she left it behind. Oh, but listen, if you have Jesus in your life, the things of this world is great to leave behind, because the joy in knowing Jesus is far greater than anything that I've ever had. Listen today, because if you die, listen, the Bible said, listen, if you come down to die and you die without the Lord, it'd be better for you not even to have been born. Listen today, friend, here's the whole thing about it. Listen, somebody said, well, what is this joy that I'm going to have, preacher? There's peace, friend, in Jesus. No matter how troubles roll around, no matter how hard they roll around, God knows I've had more than what I ever wanted in life. But, oh, friend, when I can put my hand in His and say, Jesus, it's all yours. It's not mine no more. That's when He lifts me up, a friend, and does that. When I was a young man, Mom would come by when I was sick, and she'd calm the quietest fear. She made me feel better just having her hand on me. But there was a time, brother, Dave, that Mom's hand didn't help me no more. Listen, today, oh, friend, listen, but the hand of Jesus, when it came by and done that, listen, and touch me, friend, He'll do, listen, things for ye that no medication can do. He'll do things for ye that, listen, no health food can do for you. Listen, what will it do for me, preacher? Will it never give me cancer? Listen, you might die, eat up with it, son. Listen, will it ever give me a heart attack? You might die of one. Listen, it don't have nothing to do with this natural man that you look at. Oh, tonight, listen, here is what will happen when you come down to leave this old world. You'll be able to say, Jesus, I'm glad I met you. You're mine and I'm yours. Do you know that tonight? Somebody said, I don't know whether or not I have Him. Let me tell you something, friend. You are not let sleep rest upon your eyes tonight until, listen, you manage it as sure as possible. Listen, you might not make it home tonight to your children. You might not make it home tonight to your loved one. But I'll declare to you one thing. There's a lot of people will try to leave great things stored up for their children when they come down to die and to leave. But friend, the greatest thing that I could ever leave this daughter of mine back here is Jesus Christ. Everybody say, can you leave that behind to Him? Yes. Can you leave that behind to Him? Friend, I want to tell you something, Brother Josh. I'll tell you one thing. There's a stone that we can lay up that has Jesus written all over it. That's the showing His love, sharing His power, sharing the joy that He gives us here in this land. That's how you leave something behind. I want to say to you like this. There was a young man one time. The Bible says that his father died. He had a father that loved God so much that he was one that was after God's own heart. And this young man was a very intelligent man, and he loved God too, Brother Bill. And when it came time that he must take over his father's throne, Brother Shade, it's good to see you. I thought, he looked at him, he looked at that throne, and he thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to rule in this? Somebody said, did he go and rent books? Did he get on the computer, on the internet, and begin to learn how to rule that throne? No. He began to pray. I hope that's all he knew to do. And the Bible says that Solomon, he said, he began to pray, oh God, teach me and show me how to go in and out of your people. But you see, a dream came to him that night when he was laying there. God told him, Solomon, whatever you want, I'll give to you. Whatever you want, I'm going to give to you. You imagine that, friend. If that was to come to you tonight, whatever you want, I'm going to give to you. How many, Brother Bill, would run right after the riches of this world? Would run right after things that would fade away. But Solomon in all his glory, and all his humbleness, he prayed. He said, Lord, teach me. Show me how to go in and out of your people. And listen, when the Lord began to answer him, I told you I'd give you anything that you wanted. I would give you all the riches. I'd give you great power. I'd take your worst enemy out of your way. Listen, whatever you wanted. Oh, but because you asked for that one thing, I'm going to grant it, and I'm going to grant everything else. What about that, friend? That's what I'm talking about. It's just not all about dying and going to heaven when you leave this world. What is it all about, Jason? It's about Jesus will help you and guide you and lead you through this land. Listen, He'll give you that you need, not always what you want, brother. Listen, I told your daughter, listen, that we don't know why. Listen, this happened. I know this has shook this family. I know this has shook this community. But let me tell you something, friend. God, at His time, will bless something good to come out of it. I promise you that. Listen, oh, today, listen, friend, I'm glad that God is still in control. Listen, I'm glad that He is still the one that causes the sun to come up in the morning. I'm glad that He is still the one that causes the rain to come when we need Him. Oh God, when I thought I needed sunshine, You sent rain, Lord. When I thought I needed healing, I had my share of pain. Around this sun, I've been looking for the mountaintop, but the valley, the songwriter said, is all I see. An old friend, when he summed it up, he said, He knows exactly what I need and what I stand in need of. What do you stand in need of